Bless. Fuck a vacay, I feel better at work. I mean whatever it's worth, I give whatever I'm worth. For my niggas who gon' go to hell and back for me, I'ma give them heaven on earth for a hell of a check, yeah, whichever come first. Blessings on blessings on blessings. Look at my life, man, that's lessons on lessons on lessons. I treat the beat like it's a reverend. I tell the truth like, Father, forgive me, these are all my confessions. Man, this wasn't luck, it was destined. I done lost homies who been with me since Ed and Eddie.
What's good? What's poppin'? Welcome to another episode of the Unknown Unknowns podcast. This is your host, Shady Cartier, and
it's Mobius in the house.
You already know.
And Classic Man Trap Boomin. What's good?
As you've heard, we have a guest for you tonight, and if you're listening hard enough, you could hear he mad young. So
he is in fact the youngest guest we've had on this podcast
ever in life. A whopping 13 years old. I mean, let me give you a real official introduction though. This is the youngest guy I know, okay, that's out here, born and raised in diversity, in animosity, in a really tough environment. We gonna call it the hood. Shout out to the hood all over the world, from the East Coast to the West Coast. Shout out, shout out. But most importantly, I think it is very special that, of course, he is brown. You know how we do it on the podcast. And so to say that and to be able to say he's the youngest published author that I know personally, also a gamer, also a photographer. You know, he's working on building websites. He's learning coding in school. I mean, really? What's good? Like, yes, like that's what I'm saying. So yes, Classic Man Trap Boomin. Like, what's good? 13 years old. Like, that's why you here. What's poppin'?
Doing pretty good here, man. You know, been doing a lot of great stuff. You know.
At only 13 years old. And so that's 13. What we're going to make this episode about, man. It's about the youth. So that's why we got him over here to just talk a little bit about what the black experience is for the youngins. So look, bear with us. It's we got mad inside jokes. You already know how we do over here. Like, we trying to stop laughing. It was really hard to record this because we was just cutting up, having a good time putting the episode together. So you know how we do. We want you to feel the love. We want you to sit back and enjoy this, whether you on your way to work, riding in the whip. You already know. Hit us on the IG. Or you probably stuck in the house because what phase are we in? Like, depends on your state, obviously. Yeah. But, you know, right now we're recording this during the re-ramp of fucking COVID.
Yeah.
It's
back in New York. It never left Florida. Parts of the country are shutting back down. Parts of Europe have shut back down. The United States never left the first wave. Meanwhile, Europe went to the second wave, realized they kind of effed it up, and then now they're going back to lockdown. So here we are, you know, again.
Yeah, November. COVID 2020. Welcome to the event. Also, other wild shit going on. I don't want to touch on it too much. You know, that's what we got the Oreo here for. This Biden-Trump bullshit show.
Still counting, still trying to hit those lawyers, to which... So I saw something the other day that Trump's lawyer was trying to talk about, you know, voter fraud and stuff. And then the judge was like, okay, so did you have an observer in the room when all this stuff was going on? They were like, yeah, but that's not. She was like, so what's your argument?
Where's the tape?
What is your problem?
No, where's the tape? If you don't have a tape, please stop talking.
I guess we're done here. Case closed, y'all. So that's going on. COVID. I don't know. I mean, I guess on a lighter subject, the new consoles have dropped, so go snatch up one of those because we're going to be stuck in the house for a little while longer, y'all.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like, man. On that note, we did try to pull up some facts. You know how we do on here. By facts, Very specifically, we have maps.
Maps, alternative facts. All right, so right now, most of the United States is currently dealing with... this is from the New York Times. Most of the U.S. doesn't really have any restrictions as opposed to... in regards to stay-at-home orders, with the exception of California, New Mexico, Wisconsin, and Kentucky, and looks like Massachusetts and Puerto Rico. They're going back to pre-lockdown phase, which is phase 2, phase 1. And that makes sense, but a lot of places, including some major cities, are still having like football teams play games and stuff, soccer events and stuff like that, which is insane, even if you can only have 100, 200 people in a stadium that holds 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people. It's like, just go home, put it on TV. Just let's not even take these chances.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't agree with that, because if I had the bag, I definitely want to be one of the 5 people allowed to.
Oh yeah, I mean,
but it's not safe. Like all the sports, all the different players are catching it.
Yep.
Come on now. I know y'all need y'all check, and it's in y'all contract, and that's probably what it's about. Mm-hmm. It's in their contract that they gotta play.
Yep.
And if you don't play,
well,
you won't get no checks. So
they want to play too, so I get that. It's just minimized. Like, so I work with some of the players, right?
Of course.
I get tested every week. I go home. Even when I was out during the protests and stuff, like I made sure I had my mask on. I made sure I was doing everything right. All the people around me did the same thing. So when we went home, if they went home, because there were a lot of people who stayed out there multiple nights. When we went home, you quarantine yourself. You take that shower. You wash and bleach your clothes, and then you get back out there. So for these players, I get it. There's 1 or 2 fans who will stand outside and hope for an autograph or a picture, and you want to have some semblance of normality. But when they were playing soccer in Florida, they were in a bubble. Everybody was at Disneyland or something. They stayed down there. Nobody could come in, nobody could come out. And that finished, and everybody went their separate ways to play these sports. So now you have people come into our stadium, and then the visiting team, they'll come to our stadium, play a match, and then they'll have 1 or literally 2 fans out there, and they know they're not supposed to go interact with them. Even hey, I'll give you a 5-6 foot wave over here. You want me to sign something? Yeah, just go ahead and put that on the ground real quick. I'll take care of that. You want me to sign your
petty.
I signed it for you. What do you want? I'm not
put it on the ground.
I'm not going to.
Listen. If you could, I got my own pen. If you could just slide your hat. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
No,
so
that's extra.
It's a little bit, but the alternative is, hey, okay, bye, and then you get on the bus. So
the alternative is, hey, sports is never really that much important anyway.
Anyway, right? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I made a post about
but
that.
I get. But look, shout out to a lot of our podcasters who might be listening to this. They
very
talk
angry about
sports
talk 90.
Fuck this podcast. Listen. Excuse my language for y'all. It's not that deep. I'm just saying, it's life or death. So, like, we not talking about nothing crazy here, but you gotta pay attention to what matters. And so, if you don't value your health, that's on you. What's our next current event so we can get it popping? That was my current.
Yeah, you got the Hornets and stuff. I'm gonna click on it so you can turn this bad boy around, and then you can read it. There you go.
He is not gonna read it.
Here you go.
Okay, thanks. So it's so funny. For our guest tonight, I did something very specific, and I thought was very cool. I was attempting to find legitimate news for kids. I don't know what to tell you. I am
kids in America.
This story is from newsforkids.net. That shit was wild. I was like, what? Their slogan is real news told simply. And that is trademark, so don't get sued for that. All right, so what's poppin'? Actually, young boy, you want to read it?
Man.
He's not on with it. On the spot. Let's Classic Man Trap Boomin. You 13. You ain't slow. What's the current event story?
A late nest of deadly hornets held almost 200 queens.
I don't know if y'all been paying attention, cause I mean, who even know? Are you even going outside?
The murder hornets.
Like I didn't see any hornets, but anything buzzing around, I'm just nervous anyway.
Well, okay, so with that, I feel like because this is what county is this? Something Washington? What county is it?
Washington State.
Washington State. So
yeah.
So with that, I feel like I've got some friends in California. I got some friends in Oregon. They've had a lot of fires over there. So I feel like if there was anything, the smoke killed 90% of those hornets. That's not a number that I've read. It's just that's a lot of fucking fire
that they've been dealing with.
So
okay,
you know, most of them have probably gotten waxed. That's my.
In late October, scientists in Washington State destroyed the first nest of Asian giant hornets found in the U.S. Now they're reporting that the nest held nearly 200 queens, insects incapable of going out and starting even more nests.
Entomologists in Washington are working very hard to get rid of these hornets. Yeah, what is y'all doing? I don't know. They came from Asia, okay, but not North America. If the hornets spread through the U.S., they could wipe out a huge number of bees. Okay, am I supposed to be sad about that part? Okay, pollination.
No,
I guess
bees.
That's important. We need bees. I don't like them either. They be stinging. I didn't even know they eat bees. You was gonna eat bees, or you gonna kill the bees? You gonna take over their house? You gonna run into the bees forest and be like, "This." Thank you. See, Trap Boomin. We all about equality here.
Equality.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Asian giant hornets are the world's largest hornets. They're about the size of an adult's thumb. Yeah, that's kind of big. But the queens can grow as large as 2 inches. So, I mean, I guess that's my thing. 2 inches long. So, I don't know. They have large eyes and are striped like tigers. Yeah. Oh my goodness. No. With their light, strong wings, they could fly up to 20 miles per hour. You got me messed up. I'm good. Okay, so in the streets, they call them the murder hornets. Bang. You got it. That was the current events. Stay in your house. Hide your kids. Hide your wife. Stop coughing on people.
They stinging everybody out here.
They stinging everybody out here.
I'm not outrunning them.
Hour. You can't even outrun them.
I got a current event.
Oh my gosh, look at Mobius, bro. This is wild as shit. Yeah. Current event, important news break. Mobius got his camera fixed. Yeah, he's real pressed. He could take photos. Mobius is our resident pervert. We get him to take our upskirt shots.
Negative.
Can't live with him. Can't live without him.
Painting a picture. We're just not gonna. That's vehemently no.
Mobius does not support that message. So man, let's get into it. Like, this has just been a really chill day, man. Like, again, shout out to Classic Man Trap Boomin for joining us. Appreciate you for being here.
What it is.
Like, he's like, why is this happening? And so, I mean, it's about you for real. You know what I'm saying? You gotta let us know what's going on with the youngest, you know what I'm saying, in the world, you know. So, how is it being 13 during COVID? I mean, you got school online.
Yeah.
What else? What's going on with you?
You know, Zoom has been very,
instrumental.
Yeah. In a way, I enjoy having Zoom because you get to stay home a lot. But at the same time, I like being at school because you get to talk to your friends. You get to do a lot of stuff outside and you're not just stuck in the house all day. So, Zoom has its ups and downs.
Yeah.
Okay, give me an example, because I think you was telling me something before about a kid on the Zoom. Something happening in one of your classes or something.
No.
Some wild stuff. Oh, like y'all don't be on YouTube doing class. Right.
I mean, yeah.
Right. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, in the background.
Zoom bombing.
Yeah.
Zoom bombers, hackers.
Oh, is that? Do you have the answer? No, teacher, I do. I was not even paying attention. Mute.
Oh no! How you gonna be like I wasn't even paying attention? No. I mean, what be going on? I mean, I guess I feel like this though. You got some wild stories from when you was like in real school. So like, does anything wild happen on the Zooms? Cause that's just I don't know. I mean, it's just weird. Like I mean,
some kids they try to they try to be class clowns in Zoom. Oh, and they're always trying to say something on the Zoom just to make the class more interesting. Mm-hmm. Because to be honest, Zoom is pretty boring.
I'm bad. Like y'all don't even be wanting to pay attention in school. So how you going to pay attention to a laptop and you in your own bedroom? You in the living room? Like I could. You got like,
TVs all around you,
right? Like no,
you
like
no. Creative ways to be on your Zoom call and simultaneously not be on your Zoom call.
Like no. So what they do when how they get in trouble? How you get in trouble on Zoom school? Like
I don't understand.
And I know she at home.
I've heard. That's funny.
I've heard.
And I know.
One of my teachers say that they was going to suspend somebody in online school.
Wow.
How are you going to suspend somebody if they're already home?
Just not give them any work so they can't complete their...
No, and this is what's messed up. What does suspension look like for homeschooling? It look like you stand back. Oh, dang. How would that make you feel, bruh? Oh, good. You ain't got no classes for the rest of the year, but guess what? You gonna be doing this again. Like, that's detrimental, bro. Y'all better tighten up. And I'm not even with no teacher doing that. Like, under the circumstances, you know what I mean? Like, this the first year. It's an emergency, a pandemic. It's an event that occurred that made this happen. It's not like, I mean, we eased into this 20 years or 10 years of preparing online schooling and getting the credentials for parents who want to homeschool. Like, oh my gosh, you sound like Trump. but I did it. I did everything. We're winning. I did a great job. The Board of Education did a great job. Fauci, not so much. Shout out to Agent Orange.
You ain't wrong.
I can't. So, anyway, so there's really no consequences.
No.
Exactly. So y'all just be acting up. That's why I'm gonna make sure there's some cameras watching you.
Why anyway, I need cameras?
I don't know.
You just gotta walk in the room and be like, "You studying here?"
Right. Shout out to real parents. Shout out to real parents doing this COVID-19 Zoom situation. Like, shout out to parents who yell in the room every 15, 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Embarrassing their kids on the Zoom. Ooh, let your teacher call me. Let your teacher call me and you was acting up on the Zoom. I'm going to hop on the Zoom in the middle of class one day and I'm just going to act like I'm on the phone with one of my girlfriends.
You got embarrassed? School in the second half.
Why y'all had online school last year?
No, from like the
end when it first happened. Oh yeah, my bad. Yeah, March, June, July. Okay. So what happened? Go ahead.
So
you missed 2 months of that.
So
shenanigans.
I was on my phone during the Zoom and wasn't paying attention.
You heard he thought he was slick. Okay.
And my godmother, she hadn't realized that I wasn't paying attention, and she came off mute and had her camera on and all that. And she talked to the teacher in the middle of class. And I got humiliated in front of everybody. And the teacher made it so that everybody would see my camera too and see my face. When that happened,
hold on.
I was devastated.
Hold on. So in the middle of class, they was like, yeah, because CJ did this. And the whole class could hear it?
Yep, everybody.
And then they was like, ooh. This nigga on the Zoom. That was like, oh. That's hilarious. Shout out to good parents, to good teachers on the Zoom. Bro, you gotta be creative. Like, I couldn't even think about it. I couldn't, come on.
Yeah.
Like, schools is too lit. You know, you get rolled up, you know what I'm saying? You be trying to go to the bathroom, you be hanging out in the hallway. Like, you can't do nothing. You can't do that. All you can do is, like, try to hold your cell phone next to the laptop so you look convincingly like you doing your work. Like, no, I can't. Like, I mean, it's definitely less opportunity to, I guess, get into larger trouble. Mm-hmm. You know, the type of trouble you can get in at school. But I think the most important thing is that there's the upside and the downside to the schooling with the COVID, the kids who can't get the computers that they need. You know, the communities, the states, internet. The counties who don't have internet. I mean, basic things. You know, all of that is crazy. And then to hear about, okay, the schools that they physically going back to school. So that's what I want to know. What do you think about that, Trap Boomin?
I don't think that people should be starting to go into physical school at all, because the COVID cases are ramping up rapidly, and people think that it's okay that, you know, let's go back to school.
And everybody know the youngest is Jeremy. Not to put you out there.
They don't care. They don't care.
The youngest don't care. Like,
they all some dirty little kids.
From the mouth of a 13-year-old, guys. It's not just me. We made an
episode on that.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. We gotta let you hear that, John. Dirty MF. Shout out to episode, I think it was number 9.
Not 8 or 9.
Yes. Episode 9. Shout out to episode 9. If you didn't hear episode 9 and you're listening to this, you have to go back. You have to check it out. It is flipping hilarious. And as usual, we factual. We got into some historical facts on that episode. So, but let's keep on moving, young. So, what are you, 13 years old, what are you tired of?
Punishment and restrictions. Definitely. I'm tired of, you know, not being able to play my game, not being able to watch TV, you know. But what do you think about it? What do you?
Why think? You gonna ask me what I think? I was gonna try and put it on Mobius so he can say something nice.
We got our asses whipped. That was our punishment.
like all the time.
I thought you did something. Bow. Well, I mean, that's for next time. That's for next time.
Mobius don't remember punishment because I'm the oldest, and Mobius is a boy and he was fucking up. So Mom just thought it was in her best interest to just whoop his ass, and then 48 hours of punishment, he was all right. Like, that was some bullshit. Like, I'm just gonna whoop his ass. I'm just gonna keep whooping his ass. My mother, she was tired by that time. Like, how you just a second child? She was like, I'm done with this. I'm done with the punishment shit. We just gonna whoop your ass, and if you should be able to get it. You get it? You get it? You got it? Oh, okay. That's how she did it.
I think I turned out all right.
I think I turned out good. I mean, you asked me what I think about it. I ain't want to say this to you, Classic Man, but I ain't got no sympathy, bruh. None. Like, no sympathy, bruh. Like, there was no getting in trouble for playing video games. Nah. I got in trouble for, like, maybe talking in class in school. And, yeah, I ain't never come home and get a whooping for it. And so as far as, like, punishment, we definitely got our ass whooped too much. Like, we ain't never really had no punishment, maybe, like, a month or something. Like, maybe a month was probably maybe the longest punishment. I know I had one that was in the middle of a summer. So even if you only get a 1 month punishment in the middle of the summer, punishment restriction, that shit felt like 6 months.
Yeah.
Like you doing the jail sentence.
Oh yeah.
You be looking at the sun shining and you can't go outside. You be hurting. But no, I just, I'm sorry. We was child abuse victims. So we are strong. We are better than before because of what we went through. Bro.
Kids be cutting up. And the parents be like, I just don't know what to do. He did this. And you'd be like, and then you whipped his ass, right? And they'd be like, no. And you're like, Why are we having this conversation?
Like, let's talk about this after you whoop his ass, and then that'll be an example of our brother, because that nigga didn't. He'll take the ass whooping and just go right back to fucking up. Like, oh, shout out to Polo Money Bag. That's just so hilarious. And I think restriction is nice. I think that's very important, guys. Like, y'all gotta listen. I want y'all to hit us on the Instagram. You already know it's the unknown, period, unknowns, but instead of an S, it's a 5, and instead of an O, it's a 0. Hit us on the Instagram and let us know if you even understand the definition of restriction. So listen. I really got to say this, though. If you are, under 25 years old and you listening to this, please let us know on the IG. I feel like maybe under 25 know what restriction is. Like, when did restriction become like good punishment? Because me personally, I ain't got no kids, but I thought I came up with it. I thought I was that smart. But like, there was no restriction for us. I mean, was there restriction at your dad's house?
Yeah, I would get grounded.
No. Restriction is when you're not on punishment. You just can't do shit.
He took
That's your Xbox bullshit.
Yeah, he took my Xbox.
Mobius is privileged, y'all.
He took my Xbox. I used, like, whether it was grounded or room restriction, I would generally eat all the food in the house, and within a week he'd get tired of me and tell me to go outside. But
that's some bullshit.
Because the week after that it'd be kind of rough because I just ate all the food. So like, you just stop eating all my food. I get out. I'm like, yeah.
You ain't shit. I swear.
He took my Xbox. Other than that, like, just can't go outside. And give me the phone. No.
Was you even fazed by to give me the phone?
No, I wasn't a phone person. So.
It was like,
I was on the house phone.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
TV,
definitely we was on the house phone. Like,
TV, Xbox. After that, you're just bored.
Kill him with kindness.
Yeah.
Like, what?
But again, mom whipped my ass, and then I got restricted by dad, so I turned out all right.
That's cute.
It's a balance.
No. Y'all already know there's an age difference, like 7 years between me and you.
6? No. Is it 7?
Close. 5, 6.
Because Aaron's 3 years younger than you.
What?
Right?
Why you include other people
right.
in this?
Isn't he? Yeah.
I think so. I believe so.
I'm 3 years younger than him, so 6. It should be 6.
Like 6 and
a half.
Or something. Because we ain't counting months or nothing. But
no.
It's, I don't know nothing about restrictions. So, when I was growing up, wasn't no restriction. It was all punishments, ass whoopings, ass whoopings. Child abuse. That's what we call it. You ain't figured this out? The talking punishment. Like, I gotta lecture you and beat you at the same time. Like, this shit is crazy. I could have just had white parents. I would have just took one or the other. Like, what's your question?
Now you know I love you.
Like, definitely not. So, I want to give a special shout out to the parents who put their kids on restriction, that explain to their kids the difference between the two, and definitely explain to their kids what child abuse is, because I swear these kids in the 2020 think it's child abuse, but that y'all don't know what child abuse is.
No.
Y'all do what y'all don't. Like, there is still, not to say that there aren't abusive parents in 2020.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like the abuse is more negligent abuse. Like, you just wasn't around. You just not paying your child no attention. Or you don't want nothing to do with your child for real. So then you just let them do anything. And so, again, I don't know too much. But that's just my observation, for the 2020. But what's the best things about COVID? What has COVID done for you, 13-year-old?
Being in the house. I get more time to be in the house and do what I want to do. Cause
what is that? I'm very interested.
Play the game. I guess.
Wow, I'm annoyed.
Not really a lot of things that helped me in COVID.
You probably got more achievements on the game.
Yeah. I guess you could say that.
Look at that. He's like, actually, you know, I went up a couple thousand.
Chivos.
Okay, so the bad part of COVID though.
Everything else.
What is we had to talk earlier, and I think you said you wanted to go back to playing football.
Yeah.
So what's the bad thing that COVID did to that part?
Not being able to play any sports. You know, I was in a baseball program where I was about to be on the baseball team, and now that COVID's here, all of that's canceled. I had some basketball plans or some football plans that I was thinking maybe I would join the team. Now that COVID's here, everything is just
no bueno.
Yeah.
So it's actually shut down in your school though?
Yes.
Like they chose to it's not happening.
Yeah.
So what do you think about, I mean, you know, I don't know if you've seen the news or, you know, other states, they're letting the kids play sports. What do you think about
I wouldn't have done that because, like I said earlier, COVID cases are rapidly
Which in middle
rising.
school or high school?
Middle school.
Middle school. So I know some college teams are starting to play.
Yeah.
I was talking to some of the drivers about that too, like the bus drivers and stuff. A lot of them are out of work or they're just not getting the same workflow. So they're like, this is kind of exciting that we could go back to doing some schools, because some schools have their own internal drivers and all that stuff. But then it's like, this is great because we get work, but this is terrible because they're putting these kids at risk. Damn. You just can't win.
That's fucked up. Yeah, like it's really a lose situation, and it's it's messed up to put children in unnecessary danger. And so I have this conversation a lot, being someone who went to pharmacy school, you know, some type of medical training and background, and not having children. When I try to have the conversation about how strong our DNA is and how we gain resistance to these things, and especially the children of this generation, while this is happening, a lot of them will gain resistance to COVID, or won't be so detrimental for them when they become older, or, you know how it is. I mean, we're very lucky and we're fortunate to be able to, I mean, what is it called? Survival of the fittest? You know, I mean, come on. Not everybody's going to make it, right? Mm-hmm. Some people are going to gain immunities. Some people are not. Some people are going to need medication. Some people are going to need assistance. And so there's just two sides to it. You know, I'm on the side of go science. We're going to gain an immunity to it. But I don't know. I ain't got no kids. I probably would be crazy too, talking about something they can't go outside. Like, I don't know. Unless I got my 10 acres like I want, then you can go outside all day. Because I really don't want to keep you in the house. That's not going to teach you how to cope with what's going on in the world. And so again, there's many sides. You want to protect your kids. We got to protect our kids. Our kids is the future. It's very important. We don't want to destroy their life. We don't want to destroy their hopes and dreams. You know, there's a lot of kids dealing with depression because they were playing sports, because they were popular, because they were really social, and now they're not able to do that. And there's a lot of social anxieties developing. But I would rather my child have a social anxiety than die from COVID. And so again, you know, there's a lot of different levels to it. You got to pay attention who you around, who your kids around, what you put in your body has never been more important than now. And I think people are failing to understand that, because when you think of COVID, you think about colds and all this, and you think that's the only thing we fighting against, you know. But what you put in your body has been a fight for years. And so even if you taking medicines that's going to help you get through it, if you don't have enough white blood cells, enough vitamin C in your body, you know, if your body don't have enough energy to fight it off, you know, you don't have enough water in your body. Come on, like all of these things are important. And so, you know, please think about that while we might be going back into a real serious restriction, and people acting crazy going to the grocery store, buying up all the toilet paper. Like, that's some real current event news, because I done heard that like 3 times a day. In like different states and locations, they they changing the phases and they going into the restrictions, and people are panicking again and like are going to the store. You say what?
Like it's an
apocalypse. Yeah, you already know. And so they losing their minds. So, again, just be careful. Don't buy whatever's there just because it's there. It's a really good time to buy seeds, guys. It's a really good time to start growing fruits and vegetables that you can eat in a month, that you can grow in the window, in your room, in your house. So keep that in mind. So with that being said, you already know, because this is an episode of the Unknowns podcast with the youth, about the youth, for the youth, representing. We still got to go into the rabbit hole, so don't fake. You already know what it is. Like, you know where you at. You know what you signed up for. And so I think that was kind of like a good little leeway right there. The real topic is fear for me. And so I'm gonna give trapping. I'm gonna give trapping in Japan. Classic Man. Trap Boomin. I'm gonna give him a chance to answer this question for me. What are you afraid of in regards to, what's going on right now in the world? 2020, you're 13, COVID out here. What are you afraid of?
As far as COVID, I'm not 100%, afraid of COVID. It's more like I'm nervous and worried about getting COVID. And because although COVID kills people, there is a less possibility of me dying from COVID as it were to be for someone over, 50 years old, 60 years old. But I still take precautions for COVID because, don't want to get COVID at all.
The sauce.
Yeah, don't want to be sauced up.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I like the way you put that. Nervous.
Wait. So let's put it in perspective then. So when you were his age, what were you afraid of?
Dang. That's a really good question. Walking pneumonia is in regard to like something's gonna kill you. That was the only thing. We didn't have a car. Mm-hmm. We were catching public transportation. Mom was a security guard. We was at the bus stop at 5 a.m. Every morning at the bus stop, like on the first bus that runs, so we could go from one state to the other state, so she could drop me off at a family member's house, but period. We was out there when it was dark outside. Mm. I remember going out there and standing at bus stops and being like, Mommy, I can't, feel my toes. I can't feel my fingers. I can't feel my nose. Like, she would literally cover my face in Vaseline. And I don't know nothing about, I need to Google that. What type of old throwback crazy stuff is that?
Seal it in
the insulation. I know it protects your skin from cracking.
Yep.
But I don't know. Does it keep me warm though? Because I felt cold. So, you know what I'm saying? She did everything she could, but that's the only thing I remember being afraid of. And that's at that's actually younger than 13 though. So that wouldn't be at 13 years old. I was younger than 13 where people were saying that. Mm-hmm. When I was 13, I guess it was just the flu. People were dying from the flu. And then with us being black is diabetes in our community.
Right.
Those were the only things. But I never was afraid of my grandmother dying. She seemed strong and healthy. I was never afraid of my mom dying. She was just a wild ninja.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, literally pneumonia and the flu was that was it. What about you, Moby?
World-wise, at your age, probably nothing. But as I got older, it turned to stuff with mom was going on. and then our brother and our other siblings and stuff. Like, I'm more worried about what's happening to them, if anything else. There were a couple incidents in our area where there was some shootings that happened that caused some concern. Yeah, I can't say it, but them.
Oh yeah.
We had to go to school.
That's a national emergency.
No, that was only for our area.
I know, but the world knows about it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. There was definitely some events that happened. Wasn't no Columbine type stuff, but we definitely had a killing spree happen. You just reminded me what I experienced at our school, the elementary school that we both went to.
Yeah.
The little boy got kidnapped.
Really?
When I was in maybe second grade, because I was old enough to understand. A boy got kidnapped at a store that was maybe 5 minutes away from the school. Mm-hmm. And like, that was crazy. And then when I ended up living with my grandmother, there was the ice cream truck.
I didn't hear about that.
Snatching kids. I know, because it was in the hood. It was only in the city, and they was in the hood, and they was going around, acting like a regular ice cream truck. Yeah, with a clown mask on. Yeah, telling the kids to get in the ice cream truck, and they would, and they'd take your kids, and it was a wrap. So we wasn't allowed to know all that. Go out the ice cream truck. Go outside and that shit was not even allowed.
Nope.
Not by yourself.
No.
If it's not an adult,
the whole squad,
the whole block, like that's it, like that, and that's crazy. So yeah, you definitely remind me of that. Like, that's some real stuff right there.
Word. So it was the stuff that was going on with Mom, and then by the time I got into high school, it was some stuff between us and Russia was popping off, and then so it turned, because we live close to an important major city, so so it turned into like nuclear war, like, how bad could things get. But once I got into college, it was just the environment, like seeing how different things were. You start seeing reports about people in generally colder environments not getting any snow, or their snow would be kind of plasticky, and seeing that. And now it's all environmental, because we've ravaged the planet. So that's kind of my spectrum of fear as I got older. It's just, now I don't even care anymore. It's whatever.
Y'all going to hell.
But yeah, so now you have a sort of perspective on that. Next question.
No, that's very cool. No, well, that brings us to the spiral. That brings us to the rabbit hole. Into the deep, the dark, the big dark bad.
Deep
like
blue sea, they ate me.
Fucking shark ate me. Oh my gosh, I can't. Listen, y'all, you already know. Like, come on. I ain't want to start with the industry, but we already know. They ain't playing no games out here. I can't get into it too much because I know they watching and they listen, and I'm recording this, duh. But anyway,
I just watched Snowden.
Fear is what we talking about. So, with this being a 13-year-old and having the perspective of, a reality where technology is vital, right? It's a part of a 13-year-old's every day. Probably can't even live without it. What do you know about brainwashing?
The numbers, Mason. Into the rabbit hole.
I know that a lot of kids, sometimes they get brainwashed from music.
That's a really
music,
good point.
Video games, TV. Anything pretty much technology wise.
Okay, so it's real funny that not funny, like, it's mad smart that you say that. So, do you know about the blue light filter?
I do not.
If y'all hear that crackling in the background, that's Mobius being a mouse. He getting on my nerves. Y'all, okay, the blue light filter. You know how we do on here. We bring you the facts. We keep it real 100. We try to plan out our episodes, but we so natural with the real talk out here. We so natural with it that sometimes we can't research everything. And so, Classic Man Trap Boomin just brought up some real stuff. You know what I'm saying? Technology can brainwash you. So let's get into the blue light filter. Okay, because I ain't saying that it's brainwashing you. You know what I'm saying? But y'all should definitely go watch it on YouTube and everything like that. Because I saw some wild videos about it. But let's see. It's got an article from Samsung. I don't know who to trust. All About Vision. Okay, let's see. So we're going to get our facts from allaboutvision.com. How blue light affects your eyes. All right, let's get into it. They got some pretty pictures. You guys should definitely go look this up. UV rays have higher energy than visible light rays, including blue light, which makes them capable of producing changes in the skin that create suntan. The bulbs in tanning booths emit a controlled amount of UV radiation specifically for this reason. Too much exposure to UV causes a painful sunburn, and even worse, can lead to skin cancer. These rays can also cause sunburned eyes. Wow. Because I was like, how does this have anything to do with me? Like, okay, a condition called photokeratitis. Shout out to doctors who really know that word. Shout out to optometrists. Or snow blindness. Yeah, that's way easier to say. But ultraviolet radiation in moderation also has beneficial effects, such as helping the body manufacture adequate amounts of vitamin D. I don't bang with that. Listen, don't tell me that this is going to kill you. Oh, but it's kind of good for you sometimes. Like, it sounds like you going to make a check off these cell phones that I'm selling. That's why I didn't, that's being bought. And that's why I didn't want to read the article from Samsung. All right. But shout out to them for putting the blue light filter on the phones. They did do an update. I think it was like last year. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely didn't do all my research. I did a little research at first, but when I found out about it, I cut mine on in my phone. And it don't look cute. It makes the light on your phone less white and less bright and more like yellowish. But if it's going to protect your eyes, like, I think that's more important than looking at vivid ass photos. But that's on y'all. You could take that up with yourself. It's up to you to make a choice. Let's see. Key points about the blue light. I'm not banging with this. HEV, blue light rays make the sky look blue. High energy blue light rays scatter more easily than other visible light rays when they strike air and water molecules in the atmosphere. The higher degree of scattering of these rays is what makes a cloudless sky look blue. Okay, so the point is that the blue light is everywhere. Like ultraviolet radiation, high energy visible blue light has both benefits and dangers. Yeah, of course they do. And you said that. And that's why I don't trust you when you trying to tell me that it's cool. Sunlight is the main source of blue light, and being outdoors during daylight is where we get most of our exposure to it. But there are also many man-made indoor sources of blue light, including fluorescent and LED lightings and flat screen TVs. So I remember when we was young, they was talking about how fluorescent lights was not good for you. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I don't remember what it was. I don't know if that's the ones that's made with the gases or something.
Fluorescent, I think those are, yeah. Big. And the ones that look like that. And they have the little film around
that
them.
Glass jump.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, all I know is when that glass break, it will mess you up.
Drugs.
Okay. The eye is not very good at blocking blue light. Anterior structures of the adult human eye, the cornea and lenses, are very effective at blocking UV rays from reaching the light-sensitive retina at the back of the eyeball. In fact, less than 1% of UV radiation from the sun reaches the retina, even if you aren't wearing sunglasses. Well, lucky us, because you 13 years old, don't you stare at the sun sometimes?
Yes.
Stupid. Thank you. Well, didn't you do it?
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. So dumb.
Just stared at the sun for no reason at all.
For no reason. There's the sun. I love it.
Just to see if I can look at it without having to close my eyes.
Flash blindness.
Flash blindness is the coolest thing ever. Like, come on. Like, yes. Like, and so it's just so funny. Like, when you're young and you do dumb things, that's what we do. So yes, very awesome. Thank you for bringing us into that trap booming. At the end of the day, there's a million opportunities to be brainwashed. And another thing that you pointed out was the music. And so again, you are extremely intelligent for, at the very least, being aware of this. And so I asked you a question that you couldn't relate to, but I have a story. I asked young trap booming, young classic man, does he recall ever listening to a song or watching a video and then maybe consciously or unconsciously going out and reenacting? And I don't mean like the dances in the video. Like everybody does that. Even super unconsciously, you do that after you've just seen the video so many times. But you know, I asked him that question, and you didn't have an answer, right?
No,
you don't. Okay. Mobius, you got an answer to that?
What was the question?
Do you ever remember? Mobius is fired. Do you ever remember listening to a song or watching a video, and then you, or let's include friends, you seeing your friends acting it out, and not just the choreography, like the concept, what it was about,
lyrics.
Like, yeah, oh yeah.
I'm sure I have, and like our brother, but I'm sure I have to more my peers. But we listened to different stuff, so it was mainly acting out the music, the instruments, not anything that was happening lyrics-wise.
He talking about playing air guitar.
Well, I know a bunch of musicians, so drummers, he's hitting the drums. It's not okay. So there's a difference between air guitar and there's a technical word for it, but it's basically just palm reading or something. Where you're reading the fingers and notes. I'm talking about that. The musician palm reading, not the psychics. There's a technical name for it I'm trying to remember, but we would do more of that than anything else. Okay, so what he's trying to say is he's mad corny, y'all, and the answer to his question is absolutely no. So the question, so my answer, my little, like, I want to say cool, but it's weak as shit. And this was not even too many years ago. I was over 18 years old. And so this really shouldn't have happened. This really shouldn't have happened because, I feel like I would like to think that you become 18 years old, or I feel like at least in this country, there's a concept that when you become 18 years old, you're smart and intelligent and you know enough suddenly to not have to listen to nobody's shit. But what I noticed is that these stupid young kids are listening to these radio, the TV, everything. So anyway, let's get straight to it. There was a song by Tia. Shout out to Tip Harris. What are you trying to say? It sounds like you're stuttering over there.
I'll put what's his first name?
I don't know.
Rashad. T.I. Tip Harris. I just put this nigga
Let's call this man T.I.
I tried and it came out Tia. So I had to make up for it by putting this man's government name out there, bruh. That did not work out for me. Anyway, he came out with a song. Got a model, got a bottle, got a molly in a blunt. We do not condone drugs or alcohol on this podcast. Boy. That shit was hilarious. So, okay. I went on a road trip. I ended up in the good old state of Florida. Not the good old state of Florida. The corona-infested state of Florida. the sauce infested state of Florida. They down bad, bruh. I'm telling you, I was down there. This is like way before 2020 though. I was down there, was lit. I don't know what year that song came out. Obviously it was that year. And I was turned up and it was lit. And I met this dude who thought he was like a rapper, but like he didn't even rap. So it was like, oh, okay. Whew. But he was like living this life where you was like, are you like, maybe you think you a rapper? Kid. But oh my gosh, he's just mad to make. Shout out to white people. Shout out to scene kids. Shout out to you European ancestry. Oh, shout out to the KKK. Never. Anyway, so it was just like, okay, so basically the point is I already saw that he had like some type of facade, okay, but I couldn't identify it because when you just meet somebody, like you can tell whether they real or they fake, but you don't know what the whole story is, right? So the song is popping, we hang out, I don't know, it's just week 1 or 2, but we cool and we good, we straight. And then the song came out and the song came on and he was just like, oh shit, I gotta do everything they doing in the song. But he dead ass said that shit like, I'm doing that tonight. And so it was funny. You know how you riding around, you like, yeah. Okay, but real live though. Yeah. But real live, like he wasn't lying. That night, we did everything that was in the song. We was turning up, we was everywhere, no. Like that shit is crazy. But I peeped it from jump. And I had to keep it in my head. Like, you gotta act accordingly. When in Rome, definitely don't do what the Romans do, but watch what they doing and pretend like you doing it too, so you don't get popped. Like, that's I don't know what to tell you.
Nearest plant and go ahead and pour that drink out right
now. Like, I don't know what else to tell you, bruh. But it was just unique though to be in that situation. So what I tell you, my recommendation for you is to watch out, just like you're aware of what's going on. Watch out for the kids in your life that you might meet, that you might run into, that are so easily influenced, not just by music, but that statement, so easily influenced
by anything,
bruh. Because
in a negative way.
I mean,
it could be in a positive way too.
Yeah, because then people, you could make anything negative by ODing. So water is really great, but you can die from drinking too much water. It sounds stupid. It sounds mad dumb.
Yeah.
And I almost don't believe it, but they said it's real. So
there's a story of a firefighter a couple years ago who drowned himself drinking too much water. I think he was training for like the 9/11 walk or something. He was doing something on a Stairmaster, or it was a treadmill or something. But he was just chugging water, and eventually filled up to his lungs when he died, or whatever the scientific cause of death was, but he definitely died.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I really don't trust the scientists. I really don't trust the news. I really don't. Fake it's news. Like, who do you trust? How you know it's fake news? Alternative facts. How you know? I'm gonna call Fauci.
Cause Stone Cold said so.
Oh my gosh. I can't even call Fauci. I don't have his number. I'm not from NYC. He ain't got the answers anyway. Trump said. Oh, he annoying. Oh, you must work for Trump. You look like a Secret Service agent. Anyway, so back down into the rabbit hole. Wow. So in my personal life, I've been doing a lot of research on an author who wrote several books in the 1930s. One of the books that I know, look, Moby about to go to sleep. One of the books that I bang with, I don't bang with Napoleon Hill, but one of the books I bang with is Interview with the Devil, bruh. I let Mobius hear a little bit of it.
Me. That's all I got.
Oh my gosh, like for real. Anything, Mobius. Can you give me something about what you thought? Was you even listening?
I was. And I mean,
so he lying, y'all. Look
me? All right. So it's about like this reporter who meets the devil incarnate or something, and he's telling stories about how he be snatching up souls and how he's basically the whatever the yin and yang. He's like the bad one, and how he infiltrates people's minds and get them to constantly fear until they die, and then when they die, he'd be like, "Oh, remember this? Yeah, come on over here." And then,
no, he admitted though. Yeah. That was some ill shit. So we only, again, this is something I've been, I don't listen to the whole book, but it's been on my spirit so heavy to just share it. When you get that good knowledge, you gotta share it. Just like this podcast. You need to share it right now with like 5 people. I'm just saying. Anyway, that joint was so lit, I had to let Mobius hear it, y'all. And so one thing he definitely described it right. Shout out to Mobius. One thing that definitely happened though. Your man admitted that when you die, first of all, he said that he ain't had no control for real. And so that's how he be getting people, is while we alive and while we awake. You is so annoying. Like, I can't. I'm about to punch Mobius and Trap Man Boomin. I don't know what they doing. They throwing up the Illuminati symbols in his joint. Like, I feel like they out to get me. I feel like they out to get me. Listen, they must be brainwashed. Anyway, the point that I was trying to make, he be faking. But anyway, he pointed out some very important things that we kind of already went over. Fear is something that's easily brainwashed into people. All right? Especially when you're dealing with this COVID thing right now. It's real easy to get caught up in trying to figure out the reality of the situation. Or not even trying, just giving up, cutting on the news one time, listening to whoever says, and just listening to it and then going to the grocery store and buying all the toilet paper. Like, fear is what's making you do these things. And so, again, when you get some good information...
manipulated by fear.
Yes. When you get some good information, share it with your friends, share it with your family, because whatever you're dealing with, they probably dealing with it too. Whether they tell you they dealing with it or not. Whether they admit to whether they're dealing with it or not. And so that brings me on to, why children are so easily manipulated. Why do you think, Trap Man? Trap Man. Hold on. I took Classic Man and Trap Boomin, and now you Trap Man. Like, no, I'm not doing
Classic Boomin.
Classic Boomin. I like it. All right, Classic Boomin. Tell me, why do you think children are easily manipulated?
Well, okay, wait. Define children.
Well, I mean, he's 13, so I guess I'm talking about 13 and younger. Or that's this generation. He determined the question. Boom, you got it. Fair question. I like it. Thank you.
I feel like technology easily manipulates this generation because they get so intrigued and interested in it because a lot of kids love playing the game, a lot of kids love TV shows, not a lot of people like reading books. Everything is technology for this new generation. It's been set up so that, technology is the only thing, that people really like in this new generation.
And unfortunately, just like the I'm a PC commercial with the 4-year-old girl, it's being heavily promoted. That is a positive thing. When we all know that there's some radiation inside of computers and laptops and TVs and all of that, that's killing us slowly. But that's not supposed to be important because we put the blue light filter on there. It's like, what? That don't even make sense. We've saved everybody. It's over. It's nothing to be afraid of. I think the biggest part of why, or I think the prerequisite to your answer is kind of like, how would they be put in those situations to constantly be able to turn to technology? And I feel like the answer to that is, what are the parents doing? they're also addicted to the technology. So then they're giving the technology to their kids. Then they got the parents who ain't even around their kids for real.
Yeah, ignore the kids. So the
they
kids
pick up the
do
phone,
whatever they want to do.
Yep.
For as long as they want to do it. And then when they're up to something where, you know, they have to stop doing what they want to do, they don't, because the only thing that they've been taught was nothing.
Ooh.
So they've done whatever they wanted to do.
He done put y'all on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
He done put y'all on the spot. If you got kids, you might want to raise them. He done put y'all on the spot. He talk about y'all.
And kids are easily manipulated and influenced by other kids who've been through those things, and then they influence other kids to do what they're doing.
Ooh, so you better watch who you let your kids be around. He giving you the game right now. This is from a 13-year-old child. Like, who else mouth do you need to hear from? Like, I ain't got to preach to you. He telling you right now. If you ain't watching, shit, like, they gonna do whatever. This is a rap. He said it's a rap. Like, young, I'm telling you. And so, yes, that's very important that you pointed out. Other kids, peer pressure. Did they ever make you take a class on peer pressure? Maybe like a small little class.
It wasn't really like, it was like more of like
lesson.
a special class, or
like a one time.
Yeah, like a special guest come in, and you know, there's a lesson on peer pressure or whatever.
Okay.
Because in regular school they don't really teach us that. It's only when, you know, there's like a special guest or something like that every once in a while. But yeah.
That's important, and I asked that for a reason, because I remember taking that class. Do you remember? I mean, not like a class, but where somebody came to the school and talked about a lesson about peer pressure.
Like DARE, kind of.
No, DARE was drugs.
So, but it kind of like that.
Well, yes, because it got into the peer pressure definitely with the drugs, definitely. Okay, so yeah. I mean, yes, there was DARE, there was GREAT. There was, there's the peer pressure, whatever you want to call it. Then there was the one, sex ed, like these kind of, this is not what the school is about, but we know that this is important and that y'all are like, the youth is dealing with these issues. And so like, that is very important in these schools. And so with the schools being all virtual, that's what I'm kind of concerned with, because now, missing out on that, because now it's like we got so many kids that stand back. Like we got to get the regular curriculum together, and then but how do we integrate all of these other important things that was a part of it, and like what about the music? I mean, it's a lot of things that's being missed out on. But yeah, I mean, it's really important. It's really important who you have around your kids. Did you want to share the story about? Oh, I think it wasn't like a big story, but about having a big sister, or no?
Stop.
Man, so me and my big sister, we have a pretty good relationship, but she used to make me do a lot of stuff that sometimes they were forced, sometimes I was bribed.
Good old childhood.
To, do something that I wasn't supposed to do that would get me in trouble, or to keep my mouth shut when she would do something that she got away with, but I seen it, and, if I had said anything, there were consequences.
Shout out to all the siblings in the world. Be a little lighter on your younger siblings. There definitely should be no children listening to this podcast. But if there are, hit up Trap Boomin, Classic Man. You already know. We'll give you the information, so you can reach out to him. Young celebrity, get a copy of his published book out here. But listen, it's not easy to be great. Especially when you were born in certain environments and certain situations. And with me being the oldest, my negative influence came from like my cousin. I ain't have a older sister or brother, but I am the oldest, and so I guess we could ask Mobius. Mobius, do you remember a time when I made you do something that you ain't had no business doing? I only remember one thing. I don't think I was that bad of a sister.
All right, what was yours?
I ain't saying this in front of. I can't.
Classic.
Okay. I'm obviously older than him. I don't think I was 18 yet, so that wasn't good. I was like 16. I don't know how to say this. I introduced Mobius to the block life.
What?
You don't even remember. I was like, you gotta take out the sticks, the stems, and the seeds, and this is how you bag him up.
Oh.
That's it. That's all I gotta say. Either you know what I'm talking about or you don't. We gonna keep it short and sweet.
Oh,
Mobius,
that's really it.
Shut up. You wasn't supposed to know. I tried real hard.
No, I didn't.
Oh, good. Okay,
I
good. This is not for you.
Another example.
This is not for
somebody
you.
who made me do something.
Okay, go ahead.
So my cousin Anijah.
Why you putting names out there? Then we gonna have to edit it, bro.
Oh.
He done had it.
No name drops.
And by the way, that was a fake name. All right, what's the story?
So I remember a couple years ago, she had persuaded me to have a drink, have a shot of
we lit out here. It's lit.
Yeah, she did that too.
Dang, you gonna put me on the spot?
That's tough.
We grown now. It's like,
So yeah, she made me have a drink with her, and I got in trouble for it because I got caught drinking.
wow.
Well, I wasn't sauced up, but I had like 2 shots of her drink. So that's another thing.
Yeah, that you would be sauced up because you're young.
Nah, I wasn't sauced up.
I don't even know if you know what it means to be sauced up. Like, you could have been sauced up, and I don't know if you knew if you was sauced up. But go ahead.
I mean, that was pretty much it.
Wow. So what happened to your cousin?
She got in trouble too. She got I don't know exactly what happened to her, but she definitely got in trouble for giving me that.
Was you unable to see her for a while after that?
I mean, I didn't see her in like a month after
that. Yeah. And it'd be like that. Dang, I just remember a situation. An adult gave me a non-alcoholic beer. And I mean, that was a family member adult, and I wasn't allowed to see them anymore for like a few months. So, listen, be careful about who's around your kids. You know what I'm saying? Watch it, because your kids are impressionable. They're young. They want to know everything. They think they know everything, but they don't. And children are easily manipulated. And so my whole point of bringing up Napoleon Hill, it's not really the interview with the devil book, but shout out to it, man. Go listen to it on YouTube. Like, it's about getting that information. It's not about nothing you may think it's about. You got to listen to it. Like, you got to get the game sometimes. And even if you just Google Napoleon Hill, I'm going to keep it real. He wasn't a Christian, a Catholic, or atheist. He wasn't, or allegedly he wasn't an atheist. I think he was a Mason. So, that's a whole nother level. Mm-hmm. But based on everything I read was that he was the get rich quick scheme hunky. You know what I'm saying? So he was just putting books and tapes and videos to get a check, brother. He got the how you get $1 million and the master key to success and all of this. I'm telling you, I've been listening to the master key to success, and it sound like not only everything they told you in the Bible, but like everything that your mother should have told you when she was raising you. And so it go back to, do you have any home training? And that's a really throwback question. Yeah. Because in 2020, ain't nobody saying that. Like, that's almost, it was kind of offensive back then. But yeah, it's just like,
off the table, you ain't.
it's different. It's different. Like, we in America, and we be talking about the difference between the North and the South and hospitality and the way you treat people. Bro, it shouldn't be none of that. It should be your parents raised you with some sense. They raised you to be considerate. They raised you to be caring. They raised you to be smart, intelligent, wise, and pay attention. Bro, the definition of being manipulated is when you do things against your foundation, against the morals, against whatever you've been taught, unbeknownst to you. Like, you ain't had no clue. You maybe thought what you was doing was for the right reason, or that it was going to be beneficial, or that it was okay. And so in all of these situations, we had to trust somebody who was older, bigger, stronger, smarter, somebody that we may have looked up to. And that's how they get you. And so that was one of the real ill questions that I asked my man, young. Like, that was really important. I feel like that was one of the illest questions I asked you, was what is your idea at 13 years old of what a role model is?
I believe that a role model is somebody who can tell you the right things to do, that does the right things themselves. You know, they're kind of like a big brother or sister to you in a way, because they're always there for you, you know.
Consistent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they persuade you to go in the right path, you know, follow behind their steps. They had a good education, they stayed in school, they, you know, yeah, that's pretty much a role model for me.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, you know, that's positive things. Now, what's different is I ain't hear you say nothing about they got the bag, they get to the money quick, they be rapping and singing, they got gold teeth, they got a nice car, they got a big house. Like, you didn't say all the material things that is pretty much expected of this generation. And so, you know, obviously you was raised some type of right. So, you know, shout out to your parents and everything for how they got you out the way. You know, I guess my next question would be, what is your advice to the youth? You the youth? What's your advice to 13 and under
Gen Zers
about, you know, not being manipulated and really trying to, I guess, figure out who to trust? Because that's hard. That's hard at that age. That's hard. So, you know, what advice do you think maybe you could offer?
Talk to your parents about it. Be yourself. You know, don't always listen to other people, because not everything that they say may seem right. You know, look up to people. Don't really know a lot of things to say.
That's what's up. I mean, you know, it just gets all gotta be from your heart. Yeah, that's what's most important. Like, that you just being honest and you keeping it real, and it's coming from your heart. Because at the end of the day, like, you got a good foundation. You know what I'm saying? And so I also want you to understand, and I want to give a shout out again. You know what I'm saying? Of course, he's, you know, he on here, he a guest, but I want to give a shout out to all the youth, and especially you, Classic Man Trap Boomin, for joining us today. This is an adults only podcast. This is a black, brown experience podcast. And so more than anything, because we spit knowledge and we spit truth, yeah, we may be vulgar. Yeah, we may be rude. Yeah, we may talk about some sensitive, wild subjects. But at the end of the day, like, we doing all of this, we coming from a positive place. We trying to make a difference in the world. And all we want is the best. And the best for who? Our youth, man. Y'all the future. You know what I'm saying? So, without further ado, you already know I got a little poetry for y'all. You know what I'm saying? I try to put together something slight.
You want one?
You know what I'm saying? Just something slight. You know.
Something slight.
Something slight. You know what I'm saying? It's just, we on a real deep subject. So I do got like a real long one that's perfect for this one. But we already in extended play on the Unknowns podcast. So yeah, I ain't really got no name for this. But I was just trying to embody the youth and what it's like to be 13 right now. And this was just what I feeling, like a lot of questions, a lot of uncertainty of what's going on in the world. So that's what I got for y'all. What do you see? Truth or lies? Devastating things cloud my mind. Deceit does deceive. Can they see through me? Can you help with what you preach? Are we all alone? I am, but why?
Nice.
Thank you. Just trying to be super vague, super light, and again, the spirit is just, just trying to understand what it's like to be 13 years old again. We putting it's not that we're putting, our future is always in the hands of the youth. And if you don't open your eyes and you don't pay attention to them and what they're going through, how can you truly and sincerely make a difference? And I'm talking mostly to you parents, uncles, aunts, godparents, older cousins. You don't even have to have a bloodline name or label. If you have children in your life that are looking up to you, that respect you, that follow every word that you say, then you could be a role model. Whether you know it or not, whether you think you should be a role model or not, they love you and they looking up to you. So you got to be extremely careful about what you feed their mind, their body, and their spirit, what music you give them, what games you allow them to play. I mean, Trap Boomin gave you the breakdown. Pay attention to these things. Pay attention to who you allow around your children. I done said it probably 5 times. I ain't gonna say it no more on this episode, but on the brown experience and the black community, only we gonna take care of us. That's it. We all we got, right?
Yes, sir.
The last thing that we didn't touch on, it was like 2 things. Poverty and illness.
Well, what time are we at?
No, the time is done. I just want to make this statement.
Okay.
Do not move out of desperation. I know it's hard right now. In your town or your city, you might be running out of food. We all do desperate things. Okay? And so, it ain't the end all be all, even when it feel like it is. Be careful, pay attention, and never forget, it's always something or somebody that's out there that want to help you. Get your business together. Get you some loans. Don't be in this desperate situation and be looking back like, oh, I should have did this. I should have did that. Like, this is one situation. So many people have died this year from COVID. They can't look. There's no looking back for them. They can't change. Yeah. They don't have a second chance. They don't have an opportunity. Screw their mortgage. Screw their bills. Like,
this year was a wrap for a lot of people.
A lot of people.
Don't live a life full of regrets.
Definitely don't. Definitely don't. And I know it's easier said than done, but we are all in this COVID shit together. This is one thing that we all are in. Mm-hmm. This ain't no black lives, blue lives, purple lives, green lives. No, we not doing none of that. Everybody life matter for real. But you know what we got to do? We got to protect our own. We got to build a future for our own. And then we can help other people too. So you already know. Unknowns podcast. Shout out to Classic Man Trap Boomin for being on the show. You already know Mobius the Oreo with his unique perspective. Man, we in the extended play. We probably going to have extended plays for the rest of the year. Like, bang with us. If you like it, hit us on the IG. You know where to find us. Thanks for the love and your time. And know that we respect it. Peace.
Cause I'm feeling like I'm running and I'm feeling like I gotta get away, but I know that I don't, and I'm damn. Cause you know I gotta win every day. See the really wanna pop me, just know that you will never find me. You know that I gotta be a little cocky, you ain't never gonna stop me. Every time I come a nigga gotta set it, then I gotta go